Welcome to Science for Sleep, where wonder and calm meet. Each night we drift through galaxies, oceans, and mysteries of the natural world, not to startle, but to soothe. Neptune, the far blue dream and facts of the distant sea. The distant light of Neptune. Far beyond the frost and silence of the outer solar system drifts Neptune, a world so remote that sunlight reaches it only after a journey of more than 4 hours across the void. It hangs there, faint and patient, like a blue lantern at the edge of memory. To the naked eye, it is invisible, yet through the lens of modern astronomy, it has never looked more alive. Recently, the James Webb Space Telescope captured Neptune in astonishing new detail, revealing ghostly auroras shimmering across its mid-latitudes, where no auroras were expected to be. The planet's magnetic field, tilted and misaligned, paints glowing ribbons of infrared light that dance through its high atmosphere. Scientists found that Neptune's upper layers are also cooling faster than once believed, hinting at chemical rhythms and unseen weather deep below the clouds. Even now, in the cold and distance, Neptune changes. Quietly, beautifully, endlessly. Tonight, we'll drift beside that blue world, exploring its slow winds, its hidden heat, and the pale sunlight that brushes its storms. So, if you love cosmic calm and factual wonder, stay connected, like the video. Subscribe for more slow journeys through space, and let this world carry you gently into sleep. The sunlight that reaches Neptune has traveled 4 billion kilometers. By the time it arrives, it has softened to a whisper, 70 times dimmer than daylight on Earth. It doesn't warm Neptune, it only illuminates it, turning the methane clouds into curtains of sapphire and indigo. Red light is swallowed, blue is set free, and the planet glows like a dream suspended in darkness. To see Neptune through a telescope is to glimpse the quietest fire in the solar system, distant, faint, but steady as truth. Every orbit of Neptune lasts 165 Earth years. When it last returned to the same place in the sky, telescopes were still new and our species had not yet flown. Time moves differently out there. A single Neptunian day passes in only 16 hours, while its year stretches longer than any human lifetime. To exist on Neptune would be to live in 2 tempos at once, a quick spin within a slow eternity. Its atmosphere is a deep ocean of hydrogen, helium, and methane. Here winds scream faster than any storm on Earth, more than 2,000 kilometers per hour. Yet from a distance, the planet appears perfectly calm, its motion smoothed by distance. It is a paradox of peace and power. Endless motion hidden beneath perfect stillness. In Neptune's clouds lie secrets of chemistry and color. Methane absorbs the warmth of red light, giving the planet its rich cerulean hue. Below those clouds may exist layers of exotic water, so pressurized that it behaves like solid and liquid at once. A strange, superionic ice conducting electricity like metal. In that inner sea, diamonds may fall like rain. Each crystal forms from carbon compressed beyond imagination, glittering for a moment before vanishing into the depths. It is a rain no eye will ever see, but it falls forever. Even Neptune's moons move with quiet poetry. Its largest, Triton, orbits backward, opposite the planet's rotation, as if remembering another home. Astronomers believe Triton was once a world of its own, captured by Neptune's gravity ages ago. On its frozen surface, geysers of nitrogen rise like smoke, whispering into the void, It is one of the coldest known places in the solar system, yet it glows faintly in sunlight, reflecting the pale blue of its parent planet. From Earth, Neptune appears as a single point of blue light among the stars. Yet every photon we capture carries the signature of mystery. Through infrared eyes, Webb reveals layers invisible to us. The planet's hidden rings, the fine arcs of dust that encircle it, and the faint sparkle of tiny moons that orbit in delicate harmony. What once was just a dot has become an entire world of structure, color, and motion. If you close your eyes while listening, imagine that light traveling outward from the sun, across the orbits of the inner planets, past Jupiter's storms and Saturn's rings, through Uranus's tilted shadow, until at last it brushes Neptune's cloud tops. The beam arrives weakened but undimmed, and in that moment, a fragment of sunlight meets a mirror of methane and ice. The reflection travels back to us, 4.5 hours later, bearing proof that, even in distance, there is connection. Neptune is the boundary between the worlds we know and the darkness beyond. Beyond it lies the Kuiper Belt, the domain of comets and frozen time. Neptune guards that threshold, its gravity shaping paths of icy wanderers that will one day visit the inner solar system. Every orbit it completes stirs the outer dark, maintaining balance at the edge of our sun's domain. It is the final gatekeeper of sunlight. And so, as you listen tonight, imagine the universe slowing down with Neptune's turn. The sun glows far behind you. Ahead, the stars shimmer like slow rain across endless black. The wind is silent, the temperature near absolute zero, and the planet beneath you hums softly with ancient storms. You are watching the last light of day stretch across the solar system, fading, but never ending. Sleep in that light. Let Neptune's calm blue glow carry you outward, beyond time, beyond warmth, into the heart of cosmic peace. The distant light still travels, and so do you, through thought, through silence, through the endless dream of space. The whispering winds. Before we drift deeper into Neptune's calm blue light, a quiet reminder. If you love exploring the universe in slow, poetic rhythm, where science becomes serenity, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and stay connected. New cosmic journeys arrive every week, carrying you through galaxies, moons, and mysteries designed for sleep and wonder. High above Neptune's clouds, the winds begin to whisper. They do not rush like storms on Earth. They flow like memory, vast and continuous, moving faster than sound, yet soft as breath. In the cold, thin air, motion itself becomes music. Each current rises and folds, each swirl stretches across thousands of kilometers, turning the planet into a slow, silent symphony of gas and light. Neptune's atmosphere is a masterpiece of motion. Its outer layers shimmer with hydrogen and helium, threaded with streaks of methane ice crystals that scatter sunlight like powdered glass. Through these clouds sweep supersonic winds, reaching more than 2,000 kilometers per hour, the fastest in the solar system. Yet the planet's surface, if it had one, would feel perfectly calm. The air is too thin, the pressure too distant. It is a storm you can only see, not hear, a whisper carried through silence. For decades, scientists wondered how a planet so far from the sun could host such wild weather. Sunlight here is too faint to drive it. But Neptune's storms are powered from within. The planet radiates 2.5 times more heat than it receives from the sun. an unseen energy rising through its layers. Deep inside, trapped heat stirs the gases above, creating enormous vortices that shift and fade like slow clouds of ink. This hidden warmth may come from the planet's formation, the leftover heat of gravity itself, still leaking outward billions of years later. The Voyager 2 spacecraft, the only human visitor to Neptune, passed by in 1989. Its cameras revealed a great dark oval, a storm the size of Earth swirling in the planet's southern hemisphere. The Great Dark Spot, as it was named, drifted westward at over 1,000 kilometers per hour, encircled by delicate white clouds made of frozen methane. When telescopes looked again years later, the storm had vanished, dissolved into the endless blue, leaving behind only lighter bands and quiet eddies. And yet, new dark spots have appeared since, forming and fading like passing thoughts in Neptune's deep mind. The James Webb Space Telescope has recently observed hints of these new tempests. In infrared light, Webb sees the planet's atmosphere as layers of warmth and shadow, glowing in patterns invisible to human sight. The data reveal bright streaks that mark high-altitude methane ice clouds, temporary, fleeting, yet part of a rhythm that may repeat for centuries. Even in stillness, Neptune's weather remembers how to move. Far below, the winds grow slower but denser. Pressure builds until gases compress into exotic states, perhaps forming oceans of warm, dense fluid. Within those hidden seas, electricity may arc and ions drift, a slow planetary heartbeat pulsing beneath the surface. This movement, invisible but constant, may help power Neptune's magnetic field, which tilts nearly 30 degrees off its axis. That tilt is why the auroras shimmer at strange latitudes, lighting mid-sky instead of the poles, a sky that glows from its own confusion. Everywhere on Neptune, motion is paradox. Its winds are furious, but the planet looks peaceful. Its storms roar faster than sound, but its image from afar is serenity itself. It is the paradox of distance. The closer we look, the wilder it becomes. The farther we stand, the calmer it seems. This too is part of the universe's beauty. That chaos, seen from a gentle distance, becomes peace. In the calm edges of Neptune's twilight, the winds thin into silence. The blue fades into black. The clouds dissolve into starlight. And yet, the whisper continues, not as sound, but as motion, as the quiet hum of existence itself. For every gust, every current, every swirl in Neptune's air, there is a symmetry, a rhythm, an echo of the breath that began with the universe itself. So as you listen, imagine drifting with those winds, silent, invisible, eternal. You are a mote in the great blue atmosphere, carried by currents that circle a world too distant for day or night. There is no direction, no horizon, no noise. Only motion and calm. The universe moving through itself in a slow, endless exhale. The hidden heart. Before we continue our descent, remember to subscribe and like this journey if the quiet rhythm of the cosmos helps you rest. Each week, we drift through new worlds, from blue giants to quiet galaxies, turning astronomy into peace. Now, take another step downward into Neptune's unseen core, where warmth hides beneath silence. Beneath the winds and clouds, Neptune holds a secret. Its outer beauty, that pale hypnotic blue, conceals a deeper storm, not of air or weather, but of matter itself. Down through the layers, light fades into pressure, pressure into heat, and heat into a kind of slow fire that never shows its flame. This is Neptune's hidden heart, a place where physics moves differently, where familiar elements change into states no human has ever touched. The first layer below the clouds is a region of haze and frost. Methane and ammonia crystallized into thin mists. Here, sunlight still lingers faintly, filtered through miles of gas, scattering into dreamlike glow. Below that, the temperature begins to climb. Hydrogen compresses, helium thickens, and water turns strange. Not ice, not liquid, but something between. Scientists call it superionic water, where oxygen atoms freeze into a lattice while hydrogen ions flow through like electricity. It is a solid that conducts heat, a crystal that behaves like lightning. This layer is Neptune's engine. It traps energy from the planet's birth, gravity collapsing gas into form billions of years ago, and releases it slowly, feeding the heat that rises through the atmosphere. That is why Neptune shines brighter than the sunlight it receives. It glows from within, a hidden ember in a sea of cold. Deeper still, at millions of atmospheres of pressure, something miraculous happens. Carbon, squeezed beyond imagination, begins to reorganize. Atoms link into diamonds, forming crystals larger than raindrops. The diamonds fall through layers of superheated fluid, melting and reforming as they descend. This diamond rain may continue for eternity, shaping Neptune's inner chemistry like a slow, radiant heartbeat. It is beauty written in gravity's own hand, a storm of jewels that no one will ever see, yet one that defines the planet's glow. Below even that, the materials blur into an ocean of slush and plasma. Hydrogen and helium merge into exotic metals, conducting currents that twist Neptune's tilted magnetic field. The field does not flow from the core as ours does. It loops and bends in impossible ways, emerging from shallower depths. That strange geometry is why Neptune's auroras appear where they shouldn't. Not near the poles, but scattered across its middle latitudes, glowing in pink and violet arcs as if painted by dream. At the very center, theory suggests, lies a solid core, perhaps no larger than Earth, made of rock, metal, and compressed ice. It may be as dense as iron, though no drill or probe could ever touch it. There, under temperatures of thousands of degrees and pressures that defy numbers, matter itself forgets the difference between solid and liquid, between order and motion. It is the heart of a planet that hides its fire in stillness. This secret core hums quietly, not in sound, but in gravity. Its pull shapes everything above it. The winds, the storms, the rings, even the moons that circle far away. Every current in Neptune's sky is guided by the invisible influence of this deep, unseen mass. It is the silent hand beneath the blue veil, the pulse behind the whispering winds. When Voyager 2 passed in 1989, its instruments caught a faint warmth radiating from Neptune's night side. That heat, rising from below, was proof of the heart within. Even from billions of kilometers away, the spacecraft could sense the planet's hidden energy, the quiet persistence that kept it alive in the dark. To this day, telescopes still register that inner glow, constant, steady, unchanged for centuries. If you could stand within Neptune, if somehow you could survive the pressure, you would feel no surface, no edge, no boundary, just density growing, light dimming, warmth rising like a memory from the beginning of time. You would be floating inside a planet that remembers its own birth, still radiating the leftovers of creation. The hidden heart of Neptune is not violent or loud. It is patient. It is the long echo of the universe's first heat, held gently beneath layers of calm. It reminds us that what looks cold may burn within, and that even at the edge of sunlight, there can be warmth enough to last forever. The rings of mist. Before we rise toward Neptune's edge again, a gentle reminder. If you find peace in the rhythm of the cosmos, remember to subscribe, like, and stay with this journey. Each week brings another world, another calm voyage through science and starlight. Now let us drift upward, from Neptune's hidden heart to the ghostly rings that circle its quiet blue crown. Neptune's rings are not bold or radiant like Saturn's. They are whispers, faint, incomplete, almost invisible, like breath fading in the cold. For decades, astronomers were unsure whether they even existed. Then, in 1989, as Voyager 2 passed behind the planet, the sunlight scattered through fine arcs of dust, thin threads that revealed the truth. Neptune wears rings, but they are made of mist. These rings are ancient and fragile, composed of dark particles, grains of ice mixed with organic dust that may have come from shattered moons. Each particle is coated with carbon and shadow, turning the rings almost black. Against the deep blue of the planet, they are nearly impossible to see unless caught at the perfect angle, where sunlight glances across them like a sigh. There are 5 known rings, each with a name that sounds like a whisper from history. Gale, Leverrier, Lassell, Arago, and Adams, named for the astronomers who first dreamed of Neptune before they saw it. These names belong to the age of discovery, when Neptune was found not by sight, but by calculation. Predicted through mathematics, its gravity tugging invisibly on Uranus. Even the rings seem to honor that quiet precision, almost unseen, yet perfectly real. Within these rings are brighter patches called arcs, narrow clusters where dust gathers in defiance of motion. Unlike Saturn's smooth bands, Neptune's arcs should disperse over time, yet they do not. They hold together, as if some unseen rhythm keeps them in place. Scientists believe Galatea, one of Neptune's small inner moons, shepherds them, its gravity creating waves that trap dust into patterns, preserving the arcs like stanzas of a poem circling endlessly through the dark. The most famous of these arcs is Liberté, followed by Égalité, Fraternité, and Courage, names that echo the human spirit, written into the orbit of a silent planet. They are symbols of endurance, meaning carved into mathematics. Even in the outer dark, we leave traces of our hope. From afar, through the eyes of the James Webb Space Telescope, Neptune's rings glow softly in infrared, fragile halos, luminous against the black. For the first time in 3 decades, their true texture has been seen again. Narrow ribbons, bright arcs, faint bands that gleam like dew. The light reveals how delicate they are, how easily they might vanish with time. And yet, they persist, unchanged since the birth of the solar system, a memory held together by gravity's gentle touch. Between the rings drift tiny moons, Naiad, Thalassa, Despina, and Galatea, small, irregular shapes that circle quickly, like bees around a flower. Each one helps sculpt the space around Neptune, clearing dust, shaping arcs, and maintaining the planet's fragile grace. Together, they form a celestial ballet too slow for the eye, but perfect in its rhythm. If you could float near these rings, the sight would be almost invisible. Faint dust glinting once in a while as the sun's rays strike at just the right angle. You would not see color or motion, only the sense of presence, a shimmer at the edge of vision. The silence would be complete. The rings are not built for spectacle. They are built for quiet balance, for the poetry of persistence. They tell us that not everything lasting must be loud. Some things survive by being subtle, by moving gently, by hiding in the light, by existing only when you care to look close enough. Neptune's rings are such a thing, a hymn to impermanence that somehow refuses to fade. From this distance, the entire planet looks wrapped in gossamer. The rings glow faintly. The moons trace their orbits like slow brush strokes, and the planet itself hums in low blue tones. In the grand stillness of space, these small, fragile details remind us that beauty does not require brightness, only presence. Even the faintest dust can reflect eternity. So as we drift away, imagine those rings circling forever, held together by unseen hands. They will remain long after we are gone, pale threads spun around a blue dream, whispering softly into the dark. Triton, the captured moon. Before we wander farther, take a quiet moment to subscribe and like this journey if Neptune's calm light brings you peace. Each week, we explore new worlds in slow motion, turning astronomy into rest. Now, let us drift toward Neptune's largest moon, a strange traveler that does not belong, yet circles the planet with perfect grace. Triton moves the wrong way. While nearly every moon in the solar system orbits in the same direction as its planet's rotation, Triton moves backward, a retrograde orbit. This tells a story older than Neptune itself. Triton was not born here. It was captured, drawn from elsewhere in the Kuiper Belt by Neptune's gravity eons ago, a wanderer caught in the planet's slow embrace. From a distance, Triton glows faintly pink and white, wrapped in frozen nitrogen and methane. Its surface is smooth and young, scarred not by impact, but by renewal, proof that something beneath still stirs. When Voyager 2 passed in 1989, it saw plumes of nitrogen gas rising 2 kilometers high, drifting sideways for hundreds of kilometers before settling again like powdered snow. It was the first time we saw active geysers on a world so far from the sun. Even in the cold, Triton breathes. Temperatures here drop near 235 degrees, yet the moon is restless. Beneath its icy crust may lie an ocean of liquid water, warmed by tidal forces, the slow kneading of gravity between Neptune and Triton's shifting orbit. If that hidden sea exists, it could hold energy, chemistry, and perhaps the faint potential for life, even in this frozen dark. To imagine that possibility is to see warmth surviving at the edge of everything. Triton's surface is a gallery of alien patterns, fractured plains, frozen ridges, dark streaks from past geysers. Voyager's cameras revealed cantaloupe terrain, rounded dimples that no other moon shares. They may mark where the crust once flexed and refroze, like ice breathing in and out. Everywhere, light from the distant sun reflects in muted pink, as methane and nitrogen ices scatter faint color across the void. Triton's horizon glows softly blue, just as Earth's does. An atmosphere barely 100,000th as thick, yet enough to blur the line between world and sky. This delicate veil may not last. Over time, Neptune's gravity slowly tightens its hold. Triton is spiraling inward, inch by inch. In hundreds of millions of years, it will cross the planet's Roche limit, the distance where gravity will tear it apart. When that happens, Triton will become a ring, a brilliant arc of debris encircling Neptune, a final transformation from moon to mist. The planet that captured it will, at last, reclaim it. Through the James Webb Space Telescope, Triton shines like a small jewel beside Neptune's blue glow. Infrared eyes see its frost glimmering in new wavelengths, revealing clues about changing chemistry on its surface. Scientists have noticed variations in brightness since Voyager's visit, signs that Triton's ices are shifting, perhaps migrating with the seasons of a world that takes 165 Earth years to complete one orbit. Even here, time moves, quietly but surely. If you could stand upon Triton's surface, the sun would be a tiny golden coin, bright but small enough to hide behind your thumb. Neptune would dominate the sky, vast, blue, filling half the heavens, its faint rings glinting like glass threads. No wind would reach your ears, only the distant hum of gravity binding moon and planet together. The silence would be complete, yet alive with motion. Triton reminds us that exile can still become home. It was taken, not born, yet now moves in perfect rhythm with Neptune's pull. Its path backward is not rebellion, it is balance. In that backward motion lies a kind of grace, a slow orbit of surrender, the acceptance of belonging in an unexpected place. The blue storms. Before we continue, a gentle reminder. If you enjoy drifting through the universe in calm, poetic science, remember to like this story, subscribe, and stay connected for more journeys through the cosmos, where astronomy becomes serenity and wonder finds its voice in quiet light. High above Neptune's deep blue clouds, new storms are being born. They rise without warning, born of heat that no one can see. Energy rising from Neptune's hidden heart, twisting the air until it folds into great, rolling tempests. These are the blue storms, luminous and mysterious, glowing like ghosts beneath the planet's haze. To the eye, they appear as faint dark patches surrounded by bright arcs. But to telescopes, they are vast structures, larger than Earth, moving with the slow grace of eternity. For decades, astronomers believed Neptune's storms were rare, brief, and chaotic. Then the James Webb Space Telescope began to look closer, capturing Neptune in infrared light, where temperature becomes visible. And there, within the faint glimmer of methane clouds, new storms appeared. Their heat glowing through, their outlines blurred like brushstrokes in deep blue paint. Some rose, others faded. Some reversed direction, moving north instead of south, as if Neptune itself were thinking aloud. The most famous of these tempests was the Great Dark Spot, seen by Voyager 2 in 1989. It was a colossal vortex of cold air, wider than Earth, encircled by pale clouds that moved faster than any wind ever recorded. When the Hubble Space Telescope looked again a few years later, it was gone, vanished. No explosion, no dissipation trail, simply absorbed back into the planet's blue body. But then another appeared in the northern hemisphere. and later a smaller one drifted to the equator, breaking every rule of planetary weather. Neptune's storms, it seems, are alive, forming, fading, migrating, like thoughts passing through a dream. The winds that drive them can reach 200 kilometers per hour, supersonic and smooth, circling the planet in 16 hours. From above, it looks like liquid glass in motion. Spirals and ovals swirling under sunlight, so faint it cannot warm them. Only Neptune's internal heat feeds these storms, a quiet power welling up from the planet's deep interior, where pressure turns water into electric ice and hydrogen into soft flame. That hidden energy breathes through the clouds, giving them shape, giving them rhythm. Each storm is a sign that Neptune still remembers its birth, still radiates the heat of formation long after its surface has frozen. Recently, Webb and Hubble together caught an unusual sight, a dark storm forming, then reversing its drift, moving toward the equator against the laws of fluid dynamics. Scientists had never seen that before. It was as if the planet paused and changed its mind. In that slow pivot lies the mystery of Neptune. Its weather not random, but patterned in ways we do not yet understand. Somewhere deep beneath those clouds, heat, gravity, and rotation play in a choreography older than time. Through Webb's infrared eyes, the planet looks layered, each altitude glowing in a different shade of blue or violet. The higher clouds, cold and thin, sparkle with methane ice crystals. Below them, darker bands swirl, heavy with unseen vapors. And beneath it all lies a deep glow, the faint warmth of Neptune's heart, radiating upward like a memory through water. Each image shows not chaos, but motion made tranquil, the kind of beauty only distance allows. Neptune's storms do not roar or flash. They do not throw lightning or thunder. They move with patience, like ink dispersing in still water. Their edges curl and dissolve, their centers fade, leaving no trace except memory. To watch them is to see the planet breathe, a long, slow exhale of color across the dark. Every new observation is a reminder that even at the farthest edges of the sun's reach, the universe is never still. If you could float above those storms, you would see layers of cloud stretching farther than the horizon, each one rippling gently under unseen forces. The sound, if there were any, would be too low to hear. Only the deep hum of wind moving through hydrogen seas. Above you, Neptune's faint rings would shimmer like halos of dust. Below, the darkness of the deep would glow with its quiet warmth. You would feel the movement more than see it, the rhythm of a world turning in its sleep. The blue storms are Neptune's pulse. They come and go, but their pattern endures, a rhythm too large for human time. In their silence, they hold the story of motion itself, of how even the coldest worlds still dance, still change, still dream of light. And perhaps in that patient turbulence, Neptune whispers something about endurance, that even at the edge of night, movement continues and beauty persists in motion unseen. The hidden heat. Before we descend once more, a gentle reminder. If these slow cosmic journeys bring you rest, remember to like, subscribe, and stay connected. Each week we drift through another corner of the universe, where knowledge moves at the pace of peace. Neptune glows in ways no one expected. At the edge of sunlight, where warmth should fade into silence, the planet shines faintly from within. It is as though the blue world carries its own ember, a quiet flame that never went out. Astronomers call it internal heat, but in truth, it feels like memory. The planet remembering the moment it was born. When the solar system formed, Neptune grew slowly, gathering dust, ice, and gas into itself. As each layer collapsed under gravity, energy was trapped inside. The warmth of falling, the friction of creation. That heat could not escape. It lingered, folded deep within, hidden under clouds of methane and hydrogen. Over billions of years, it has continued to rise, bleeding gently through the atmosphere, turning Neptune into a world that still glows long after the sun's light has faded. Measurements show that Neptune radiates about 2.6 times more energy than it receives from the sun. Its twin, Uranus, does not. This difference has puzzled scientists for decades. Why should two nearly identical planets behave so differently? Some theories say Neptune's interior still churns, mixing and moving like a slow ocean of heat. Others suggest that deep layers of water and ammonia insulate its warmth, letting it escape only in soft pulses, feeding the planet's winds and storms. The James Webb Space Telescope recently confirmed that Neptune's upper atmosphere is cooling, while the lower layers remain strangely warm, a contrast that deepens the mystery. It suggests that the heat source is still active, not merely leftover from long ago. Perhaps gravitational tides from its many moons stir the core. Perhaps chemical reactions deep within the superionic ice release warmth in silence. Whatever the source, the planet's hidden energy is real. Steady, patient, invisible. If you could drift through those layers, you would feel temperature increase as light disappears. The gases thicken, color deepens, until blue turns to black and black to brightness again. Not from the sun, but from the planet itself. Every molecule vibrates a little faster, every atom glows a little warmer, and you begin to sense that Neptune is alive in a quiet way. Not with movement or thought, but with endurance. Somewhere between the visible clouds and the unseen core, that inner warmth feeds the blue storms above. Heat rises, condenses, curls into spirals that cross the atmosphere like slow breaths. Without that energy, Neptune would be still, its clouds frozen in place. Instead, the warmth beneath keeps the sky in motion, gives the planet its changing face. Every flicker seen through a telescope, every dark spot, every wandering arc, is a message from the heat below, whispering upward through leagues of hydrogen. Even Triton, the captured moon, may feel that hidden pull. Its tides and faint geysers respond to Neptune's interior rhythm, as if the planet's warmth radiates through space not just as energy, but as influence. The two bodies are bound by more than gravity. They share motion, temperature, and history. When one stirs, the other answers. Neptune's hidden heat is a reminder that distance does not mean lifelessness. Even at the farthest edges of sunlight, creation still glows. The universe does not abandon its outskirts. It simply slows them down, letting warmth linger longer. Inside Neptune, that warmth remains the planet's heart, steady as breath, eternal as orbit. So as you listen, imagine drifting close to that inner glow. No sound, no flame, only pressure and light, pulsing softly beneath blue shadows. You are suspended in the calm furnace of a world that never forgot its beginning. The darkness feels alive, not empty. It hums quietly, like time itself breathing in the cold. The magnetic maze. Before we enter the field of invisible forces, a quiet reminder. If this cosmic rhythm soothes you, subscribe, like, and stay close. Each week, we explore another hidden harmony of the universe, where science drifts like starlight through calm. Around Neptune, magnetism behaves like a dream that can't quite remember its shape. The planet's magnetic field is tilted by almost 30 degrees from its axis and shifted far from its center. So the lines of force loop and twist through space like ribbons of light caught in current. Unlike Earth's calm dipole, Neptune's field spins in waves, constantly changing direction as the planet turns. It is less a bar magnet and more a shifting maze of invisible geometry. This strange alignment was first mapped by Voyager 2, whose instruments felt the magnetic pull rise and fall twice in every rotation. That discovery startled scientists. It meant the field did not emerge from the core, but from layers nearer the surface, perhaps within the deep ocean of conducting water and ammonia that lies beneath the clouds. Within that ocean, ions move slowly, creating a dynamo that flickers rather than hums. Every turn of the planet sends the field into motion, sweeping arcs of charged particles outward into the dark. Because of this, Neptune's auroras do not crown its poles like ours. They wander. They appear at mid-latitudes, sometimes near the equator, glowing softly in infrared and ultraviolet light. The James Webb Space Telescope recently caught these faint curtains, rippling across the night side, bright where magnetism meets solar wind. In Webb's images, Neptune's field looks alive, a luminous halo breathing around the blue sphere, invisible to eyes but vibrant in energy. Each particle streaming from the sun must navigate this maze. Some spiral harmlessly around field lines. Others crash into the atmosphere, sparking ghostly light. These impacts may even warm the upper layers, feeding back into the delicate balance that drives Neptune's weather. So, the magnetic maze is not merely decoration. It is part of the planet's heartbeat, linking sunlight, wind, and storm. No one fully understands how such a field remains stable. It may flip directions every few million years. It may drift in cycles we cannot yet measure. Whatever its rhythm, it adds to Neptune's aura of mystery. A planet where even the unseen refuses to obey simplicity. To model it is to chase a moving labyrinth through equations that never settle. If you could float within that field, you would feel no touch, hear no sound, only the sense of motion without movement, gentle currents passing through you as if space itself were breathing. Charged particles would spiral around you, invisible fireflies tracing loops through silence. The faint auroral light above would shimmer, fade, and shimmer again, each pulse timed to Neptune's rotation, each one a quiet signature of magnetic grace. Neptune's magnetic maze reminds us that order need not be perfect. Even misalignment can make beauty. Even chaos can find pattern. The field is skewed, restless, asymmetric, and yet it endures, wrapping the planet in an unseen cradle of balance. In its shifting geometry, we see a truth mirrored in ourselves, that harmony is not always symmetry, and serenity can exist within motion. The auroras of ice. Before we follow the light, take a moment to subscribe and like if these quiet voyages help you drift into calm. Each week we travel a little farther, where the universe slows down enough to hear itself think. At the farthest edges of sunlight, even the night glows. Here, where the sun is no more than a bright star, Neptune's auroras shimmer like pale ribbons folded through the dark. They are not bright green or crimson like Earth's. They are faint, ghostly, whisper-thin curtains of infrared and violet light, seen only through the eyes of our most delicate instruments. And yet, in that invisibility, they are beautiful. When the solar wind reaches Neptune, it has traveled nearly 5 billion kilometers, its strength softened to a breeze. Those particles meet the planet's tilted magnetic field and spiral inward, tracing crooked paths until they collide with atoms high in Neptune's sky. The impact releases light. Not much, just a sigh of radiance, but enough to paint the atmosphere with quiet energy. These are the auroras of ice, the northern and southern lights of a world so distant that even its glow seems half asleep. In 2024, the James Webb Space Telescope captured these auroras directly for the first time. They appeared at mid-latitudes, where no one expected them. Proof that Neptune's magnetic field twists through space like a drifting compass. In Webb's infrared images, the planet looked alive, rings faintly visible, storms glimmering, auroral ovals pulsing like a slow heartbeat. Each flicker marked a connection, the sun's breath reaching all the way to the outer dark. Unlike Earth's bright flashes, Neptune's auroras last for hours, sometimes days. Their colors are determined not by oxygen or nitrogen, but by hydrogen and methane, glowing softly in ultraviolet and near infrared. If you could see them with your own eyes, they would not dazzle. They would soothe. Faint blue veils moving across an endless night. Even the darkness here has texture, shaped by light too gentle to be seen. Every planet that holds a magnetic field has auroras. They are the footprints of magnetism meeting motion. But Neptune's are the quietest. They show how far influence can travel, how even the most distant worlds remain connected to the star that gave them birth. A single solar flare on the sun can ripple through space for days until it brushes Neptune's atmosphere, awakening the sky for a heartbeat of time. It is proof that no distance is too great for light to find a way. If you could hover above Neptune's night side, the auroras would look like soft halos sliding across the curve of the planet. Each one would rise slowly, shimmer and fade, leaving behind a lingering glow. The light would not flicker fast. It would pulse, steady and calm, like the rhythm of breath. Below, the clouds would remain still, reflecting the faintest trace of violet from the air above. Everything would move together, planet, light, field, in one immense, quiet conversation. In that harmony lies something deeply peaceful, a reminder that energy can be gentle, that storms can make light instead of noise. The auroras of Neptune are that lesson made visible. Calm illumination born of collision, beauty formed from distance. They are the planet's slow response to the universe's touch, the way a dream glows when remembered. So as you listen, imagine floating there, high above the blue world, the sun a distant ember behind you, the auroras flowing like soft music beneath your feet. You are weightless, timeless, surrounded by silence that glows. The light comes and goes, breathing with the planet, whispering across eternity. And when it fades, it leaves you changed, not awakened, but deeply, quietly at rest. The guardian moons. Before we set adrift once more, take a quiet moment to subscribe and like if these journeys bring you rest. Each world we visit is a note in the slow symphony of the cosmos, each story a breath between stars. Around Neptune, a family of small moons keeps patient watch. They are faint, irregular, and silent. Worlds so small that sunlight barely touches them. Yet each plays a role in maintaining Neptune's delicate balance. They are the guardian moons, shepherds of dust and motion, dancers at the edge of a planet's slow heartbeat. There are 14 known moons circling Neptune, each one distinct, each one a quiet echo of the early solar system. Some are captured fragments from the Kuiper Belt, others formed from the debris left after Neptune seized Triton. Together they form a retinue of calm, a procession that circles endlessly around the blue giant. The innermost moons, Naiad, Thalassa, Despina, Galatea, and Larissa, orbit close to the planet's cloud tops, tracing paths that complete in mere hours. From afar, they look like bright dust motes skimming the surface of the blue globe, their gravity shaping the thin, dark rings. They are sculptors of harmony, guiding particles into arcs, preserving Neptune's fragile halos from dispersing into space. The tiny moon Galatea is one of the most important. It moves just inside the Adam's ring, where the famous arcs of Liberté, Égalité, and Fraternité circle the planet. Galatea's gravity acts as a shepherd, keeping those arcs from drifting apart. Every time it passes, it tugs gently on the ring's particles, nudging them back into place. A cosmic caretaker, invisible but essential. Without it, the arcs would vanish in centuries. Because of Galatea, they have survived for billions of years. Further out, Larissa moves in a slightly tilted orbit. Almost in rhythm with Galatea, their gravitational beats intertwined. When one speeds ahead, the other lags behind, keeping balance through a delicate exchange of motion. It is like a duet played on invisible strings, the music measured in gravity's quiet pulse. Beyond these, the larger moon Proteus marks the outer boundary of Neptune's close system. Proteus is irregular, angular, and ancient, a remnant world shaped not by fire, but by time. Its surface is cratered, its light gray and muted, as though wrapped in dust. When Voyager 2 first saw it, the images revealed a world so dark and featureless that it looked more like shadow than solid ground, yet even it serves a purpose. Proteus steadies Neptune's tides and guards the space between rings and outer orbits. Farther still lie Nereid and Halimede, their orbits long and eccentric, sweeping out into the deep. They are wanderers, remnants of ancient collisions or captures from the Kuiper Belt. Nereid's path is wildly elliptical. It can be as close as 4 million kilometers to Neptune or as far as 10 times that distance. Every orbit is a slow ellipse of devotion, drawn toward the planet, then let go again, over and over, for eternity. Through the eyes of the James Webb Space Telescope, these tiny worlds gleam like dots of silver light scattered through Neptune's halo. Their faint reflections help scientists trace the planet's gravitational influence far beyond its visible rings. Each moon is a marker of motion, a signpost in the blue silence, showing how Neptune's presence extends like a calm magnetic tide through space. If you could hover among them, you would see Neptune below as a vast blue marble filling half the sky. The rings would shine faintly, thin threads of gray light, and the moons would move like quiet thoughts, steady, predictable, eternal. No sound, no wind, no shadow. Only the planet's pale glow and the slow, perfect grace of orbital balance. It would feel like standing inside the concept of patience itself. The guardian moons remind us that even the smallest things can hold great harmony. They are not bright or large or loud, yet they maintain a planet's order. Without them, the rings would scatter, the balance would fade. They prove that serenity often depends on what moves quietly, on small presences that act without seeking to be seen. As we drift outward, we leave these moons behind, still circling, still keeping watch. They will continue long after our telescopes fall silent. Their orbits, the steady heartbeats of a planet too distant for day or night. Each one a whisper of stability, a guardian of blue eternity. The pale rings beyond. Before we move beyond Neptune's shadow, a gentle reminder. If you find calm in these slow journeys through the stars, subscribe, like, and let this channel carry you further into the universe each week, where astronomy becomes meditation and discovery feels like rest. At the outer edge of Neptune's realm lie rings so faint they almost vanish into darkness. They are the pale rings beyond, the final threads of dust that mark where the planet ends and the deep begins. To the eye, they are invisible. To the telescope, they are whispers of reflection, thin as breath, eternal as orbit. When Voyager 2 passed Neptune in 1989, it was these rings that gave the last sign of the planet's presence. As the spacecraft's camera turned back for a final glance, sunlight scattered across faint arcs of dust, ghostly halos drawn in near silence around a fading blue world. Those rings, almost too fragile to exist, seem to dissolve into the void, yet they remain, orbiting still, tracing the edges of gravity's reach. Each grain of dust within them tells a story billions of years old. Some are the remains of shattered moons, ground into powder by ancient collisions. Others drifted in from beyond, captured debris from the outer solar system, bound by Neptune's pull. Together they form a thin veil of memory, a map of motion too delicate for permanence, yet too persistent for loss. Through the James Webb Space Telescope, these outer rings have appeared again, clearer, brighter, more detailed than ever before. Infrared light revealed the arcs like soft embers, not gone, but glowing gently in the dark. Between them drift countless fragments, each no larger than sand, reflecting sunlight that left the sun 4.5 hours earlier. They orbit in silence, untouched, unchanging, circling their planet like thoughts that never fade. Beyond the pale rings lies a transition, a frontier between Neptune's world and the Kuiper Belt, a region filled with icy bodies and forgotten worlds. Here the sun is just a distant lamp, and the line between planet and space begins to blur. It is not an ending, but a thinning, like breath fading into sleep. Neptune's gravity grows faint, yet its influence continues, shaping orbits, nudging comets, marking boundaries invisible but real. The pale rings serve as Neptune's signature. They show where its power softens, where order dissolves into drift. Every grain that circles there is a reminder that the universe never truly ends. It only becomes quieter, finer, more dispersed. Just as waves on the ocean fade into mist, so the matter around Neptune fades into the greater sea of space. If you could hover there, at the edge of those rings, the view would be timeless. Behind you, Neptune's soft blue glow would rise, immense, serene, wrapped in its faint halos. Ahead, the stars would crowd closer, cold and countless. The air would be gone, the silence complete. the distinction between near and far dissolving into a single, endless stillness. You would be standing at the threshold of the solar system, the border between presence and the unknown. Those pale rings are not boundaries. They are bridges. They mark the point where Neptune offers the universe back to itself, where what was once a world becomes part of everything. Even in fading, they remain beautiful, shimmering threads at the end of sunlight's reach, the planet's final whisper before infinity. The Kuiper Sea. Before we leave Neptune's soft glow behind, take a moment to subscribe, like, and drift with us through the outer dark. Each week, we travel farther, from the warmth of the sun to the stillness beyond, where time and light move like dreams. Beyond Neptune, there is no horizon, only distance that never ends. The pale rings fade, the blue light softens, and the sun becomes a golden spark, shining across billions of kilometers of quiet. Here begins the Kuiper Belt, a vast ring of icy worlds orbiting in slow procession around the sun. It is a sea of frozen debris, the remnants of creation that never formed into planets. If the solar system were an ocean, the Kuiper Belt would be its twilight shore. Neptune guards its edge. Its gravity shepherds the Kuiper objects, shaping their orbits like tides on a distant beach. Many of these bodies, called Plutinos, move in harmony with Neptune, completing 2 orbits for every 3 of the planets. This perfect rhythm keeps them from colliding, locking them into eternal dance. Even here, where sunlight barely warms the surface, order persists through gravity's patient hand. Among these drifting worlds lies Pluto, once called the 9th planet, now known as the brightest wanderer of the Kuiper Sea. Beyond Pluto, others follow: Eris, Haumea, Makemake, and countless smaller objects, each with its own frozen moons, its own slow orbit, its own silence. They are time capsules from the solar system's birth, made of ice and rock untouched for 4 billion years. Each one carries the story of what the planets could have been had they not grown larger or moved inward. The space between these worlds is vast, almost unimaginably empty. A traveler could journey for centuries and never see another object, only starlight reflected off invisible dust. And yet, everywhere there is motion, faint, slow, precise. Nothing rests. The Kuiper Belt is still alive, its countless fragments circling the sun with patience beyond comprehension. Through the eyes of the James Webb Space Telescope, the Kuiper Belt glows softly in infrared, not bright, but present. Tiny bodies reflect sunlight from their icy crusts, while the darkest ones absorb it completely, drifting like shadows among stars. Webb's instruments have even found rings around Haumea, and signs that collisions and captures continue even now. Out here, creation never fully stopped. It only slowed to the pace of deep time. Beyond the Kuiper Belt lies the scattered disk, where objects move in long, stretched orbits from their paths pulled by Neptune's distant gravity. Some are so far that their orbits last thousands of years. They spend centuries in darkness, then sweep inward for a moment of sunlight before retreating again into cold. Each one is a silent messenger, marking the invisible frontier between our solar family and the interstellar sea. If you could float among them, you would see no color, no light, only faint glints of frozen rock gliding through blackness. The sun would be no larger than a bright star, Every direction would look the same, endless, calm, and impossibly still. And yet, hidden in that stillness, there would be beauty. The slow glitter of ice, the hush of time, the promise of infinity. Astronomers believe that beyond even this region lies the Oort cloud, a spherical shell of icy bodies stretching halfway to the next star. From there, some comets fall inward toward the sun, visiting the inner planets like fleeting memories before vanishing again into the dark. Every comet we see, every brief light across the night sky, began here, in the cold garden beyond Neptune's reach. The Kuiper Sea is not an end. It is a continuation, a reminder that the solar system extends far beyond what we can see. It is a place where beginnings never died, where ancient materials still drift, waiting, untouched, eternal. From Neptune's pale rings to the last frozen rock, everything here is part of a single slow heartbeat, the rhythm of creation's afterglow. So as you listen, imagine sailing through this sea of ice. No sound, no gravity, only motion. Slow, endless, graceful. You are leaving Neptune behind, yet its pull lingers, a faint whisper in the dark. The sun is small but steady. The stars have multiplied. And in the silence, the Kuiper Sea unfolds like a dream that has no ending. The wanderers of the edge. Before we journey onward, a quiet reminder. If these slow voyages bring you peace, subscribe, like, and let your evenings drift through the calm of the cosmos. Each story is a window into silence, where knowledge and stillness share the same voice. Beyond the Kuiper belt lies a realm without a map, the scattered edge of the solar system, where distance becomes philosophy. Here, the sun's warmth is a rumor, and its gravity grows soft. Worlds wander in orbits so vast that no human lifetime could ever watch them complete a single turn. They are the wanderers of the edge, icy bodies, fragments, and interstellar guests drifting between stars. Among them move the scattered disk objects, stretched on long ellipses by Neptune's ancient pull. Each one travels for thousands of years before returning for a moment of sunlight, then retreating again into shadow. Their orbits are tilted, unpredictable, sculpted by the invisible hand of time. Together, they form a slow, circling mist, a boundary between belonging and freedom. One of these wanderers is Eris, a world once called the twin of Pluto. Its surface, bright as polished ice, reflects almost all the sunlight that touches it. Eris orbits so far that a single year there lasts 557 Earth years. When it was discovered, it challenged our definition of planet, reshaping the way we saw the solar system. From its lonely path, Eris taught us that even small worlds can rewrite great ideas. Others roam farther still. Sedna, discovered in 2003, travels on a path that may take 11,000 years to complete. An orbit so vast, it brushes the edge of the hypothetical Oort cloud. At its farthest, Sedna is 13 billion kilometers from the sun, a distance where sunlight would take more than 12 hours to arrive. It is a world of perpetual dawn, frozen beyond imagination, tinted red by tholins, organic compounds formed by cosmic rays striking ice. It glows faintly, like a coal that never burns out. These distant bodies tell a quiet truth. The solar system does not end. It fades. Beyond Neptune, boundaries dissolve. Planets give way to fragments, fragments to dust, dust to interstellar flow. The structure of home softens into the openness of space. And everything that drifts here carries the memory of where it came from. Sometimes, something new enters, a visitor from another star. In 2017, we saw one for the first time. Oumuamua, the first known interstellar object to pass through our solar system. It moved too fast to belong here, tumbling silently between planets before slipping back into the dark. Its path was smooth, its shape unknown, its origin uncertain. Some said it was a comet without a tail. Others imagined something stranger. But whatever it was, it came and went like a thought across the mind of the universe. Another followed in 2019. 2I Borisov, an unmistakable comet, shedding dust and gas as it passed near the sun, a messenger from a system not our own. For a few weeks, it shone faintly in telescopes, its tail stretching across the black, then faded forever into space. Each visitor reminds us that the distance between stars is not empty. It is a bridge, traveled rarely, but always open. The James Webb Space Telescope now watches for such travelers, hoping to capture their light, to see what chemistry they carry. For each grain of dust, each frozen fragment, may hold clues to how life began, to how matter learns to remember itself. In every wanderer of the edge lies a record of the universe's oldest stories, written in ice and silence. If you could float among them, you would not see a border, only depth. Blackness so complete it becomes luminous. The sun would be a golden ember far behind you, its warmth no longer felt, but still seen. The stars ahead would shine sharper, closer, more numerous. You would feel yourself moving and still, suspended in the rhythm of infinity. Each object that passes would whisper its orbit in light, slow arcs, gentle ellipses, the geometry of peace. These wanderers are not lost. They follow paths older than memory, carrying seeds of connection between stars. Every comet that falls toward the sun is a letter returning home. Every visitor that departs is a message sent outward again. They are the universe's quiet communication, the proof that even in emptiness there is relationship. So as you listen, imagine drifting beside them, tiny worlds circling through the night, carrying stories of countless suns. You are weightless, calm, part of the motion. The darkness feels endless, but it is not empty. It is full of presence, of possibility, of light that travels without hurry. The comets return. Before we follow this ancient traveler home, take a quiet breath, and if this cosmic calm brings you peace, subscribe, like, and stay connected. Each new episode carries another drifting story, a bridge between science and stillness. From the outer dark, a single spark begins to move. It is small, silent, and cold, a fragment of ice and dust no larger than a mountain. Yet it holds within it the memory of the universe's first fires. This is a comet, a wanderer returning from the edge, drawn once more toward the sun. For thousands of years, it has drifted through the Oort cloud, that vast sphere of icy remnants surrounding the solar system. It has known only darkness, silence, and stars. But gravity, patient and persistent, has called it home. Now, as it falls inward, the frozen heart begins to wake. The comet's surface warms slowly, still hundreds of millions of kilometers from the sun. Volatile gases locked inside for eons. Carbon monoxide, methane, ammonia begin to stir. They expand through the cracks of ancient ice, pushing dust into space. A coma forms, a luminous halo of gas and vapor surrounding the nucleus, glowing faintly against the black. The comet has opened its eyes. By the time it crosses Neptune's orbit, sunlight has begun to sculpt it into beauty. A tail forms, streaming away from the sun, tens of millions of kilometers long, one of dust, one of ionized gas. The dust tail curves gently, tracing its path. The gas tail points straight away, following the solar wind. From far away, it looks like a brushstroke of light across eternity. Every atom in that light has traveled billions of years to reach this single moment of return. The James Webb Space Telescope has captured comets like this in exquisite detail, revealing textures unseen before, jets erupting from fissures, complex chemistry forming as molecules collide in sunlight. Each observation adds to a story as old as the solar system itself. Some comets are ancient visitors that have returned many times. Others are first-timers, falling inward once before vanishing forever into deep space. Every return is both an ending and a beginning. Scientists believe that comets may have carried the seeds of life to early Earth: water, carbon, amino acids, all preserved in ice. Each time one visits, it sheds these fragments into the solar wind, dusting planets and moons with the raw materials of creation. Even now, comets are not just memories of the past. They are messengers of potential, carrying the chemistry of beginnings through the cosmos. As the comet passes near the sun, its brilliance peaks. The nucleus glows white, the coma expands, and the tails stretch beyond sight. For a few weeks, it becomes one of the brightest objects in the sky. A moving star. Ancient civilizations watched such lights and called them omens. Today, we call them archives, carrying the story of the early solar nebula. Each orbit is a page in the universe's autobiography, written in ice and dust. Then, as swiftly as it came, the comet begins to fade. The sunlight weakens, gases freeze again, the coma shrinks. The tails dissolve into the black, dust scattering across interplanetary space. It returns to silence, its orbit carrying it outward once more, through the realm of Neptune, into the Kuiper's Sea, and back toward the Oort cloud. It may not return for 1,000 lifetimes, but its path remains written in gravity's invisible ink. If you could drift beside it, the view would be quiet and eternal. The sun would gleam ahead, pale and distant, the comet's tail shining like a silk ribbon through the dark. Behind you, Neptune would fade into shadow. The blue world, now just another memory. You would feel motion without speed, change without sound, the universe whispering in slow arcs. This is the rhythm of return, slow, patient, infinite. Every comet tells the same story in a different tone, that even what leaves forever remains part of the pattern, that even what freezes in silence can one day shine again. The comet's return is not an ending, but a reminder. In the universe, nothing truly ends. It only circles back in another form, another light. The Oort halo. Before we journey into the farthest silence, a gentle reminder. If you find calm in these stories, subscribe, like, and stay connected. Each week, another layer of the cosmos opens, where sound becomes thought and science becomes sleep. Beyond the Kuiper's Sea lies a sphere so wide it almost defies imagination. It surrounds the solar system like a shell of memory, the Oort cloud, the last faint halo of the sun. Here, gravity is a whisper, sunlight a rumor. Each point of ice and rock drifts in a slow circle that may take millions of years to complete. It is the Oort halo, the universe's quiet archive of beginnings. This region is not a disk like the planets. It is a sphere extending in every direction, out to where the sun's pull fades into that of the neighboring stars. Astronomers believe it stretches 100,000 astronomical units, nearly halfway to the next solar system. Within this expanse may lie trillions of icy bodies, ancient comets, frozen dust, and the remains of the nebula that birthed the sun. They drift together, bound loosely, like snow caught in the still air between stars. The Oort cloud is invisible. No telescope has ever seen it directly. Its existence is known only through what leaves it, the long-period comets that fall inward every few thousand years, carrying pieces of the edge into the inner system. Each one is a messenger, proof that something vast and silent surrounds us, watching from afar. When a comet appears in the night sky, it is a letter sent from this outer darkness, a brief spark from a place where time hardly moves. In the cold of the Oort halo, heat has never truly arrived. Temperatures hover just above absolute zero. Atoms move so slowly they almost forget motion. There is no light, no sound, no direction. Yet each object still orbits, slow, steady, eternal. Even here, the laws of gravity sing their quiet song, keeping the universe in rhythm. Some of these icy bodies are thought to have been born near the sun, thrown outward long ago by the gravity of the giant planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Others may come from other stars entirely, captured travelers now resting in the sun's gentle hold. The Oort halo is not a border. It is a meeting place, a shared space between solar systems. Here, our neighborhood and the galaxy overlap, one current blending into another, like the edges of two seas. Every so often, a passing star or galactic tide stirs this calm. Its gravity nudges a few of the frozen wanderers, sending them slowly inward. Centuries later, they become comets, lighting our skies. Each bright streak we see from Earth began with a whisper out here, a gentle push across billions of kilometers. In that way, the Oort cloud is a cosmic reservoir of potential, a sleeping ocean of light waiting to fall. The James Webb Space Telescope and other instruments cannot yet see this region, but they can trace its signature in the motions of known comets. Through mathematics and gravity's precision, scientists sketch its shape, like mapping a coastline by listening to the tide. It is science done through absence, learning by what returns. Every comet is a clue, every orbit a fragment of the halo's unseen design. If you could drift within the Oort halo, you would see nothing close, only the faintest glimmer of the sun, a pale dot among countless others. The nearest stars would seem almost the same brightness, their light scattered evenly through the void. It would be impossible to tell where one system ends and another begins. You would be suspended between worlds, a traveler in the quiet network that connects every star to every other. The emptiness would feel complete, but comforting, like the pause between heartbeats. The Oort halo is the solar system's soul, diffuse, unseen, endless. It is the part that listens, the part that keeps memory, not through motion, but through stillness. Every world, every comet, every planet exists because this halo still holds the balance. Even Neptune's pull, faint though it is, contributes to that harmony. The planets may circle in light, but the halo endures in darkness, and both belong to the same breath. So as you rest, imagine yourself there, far beyond Neptune, beyond the Kuiper Sea, floating in the deep calm of the Oort halo. The stars around you are silent, patient, luminous. The sun glows faintly behind you, smaller than your heartbeat. And in every direction stretches peace, the unbroken continuity of creation. Still moving, still waiting, still listening. The gravity between stars. Before we leave the sun behind, a soft reminder. If these cosmic drifts bring you peace, subscribe, like, and stay close. Each episode is another quiet voyage through the universe, where knowledge moves like light through calm water. Beyond the Oort halo, gravity changes its voice. Here the sun's pull weakens until it blends with that of other stars. There is no border to cross, only a slow fading. A place where every direction becomes outward and every force becomes shared. This is interstellar space, the domain of the gravity between stars. No planet or comet marks this boundary. It is measured only by movement. When a particle of solar wind slows, when the sun's magnetic field finally bends to the pressure of the galaxy beyond. This invisible surface is called the heliopause, the edge of the sun's breath. Beyond it, the particles that drift are no longer ours. They belong to the Milky Way. 2 human-made travelers have crossed it. Voyager 1 in 2012 and Voyager 2 in 2018. Each carries a golden record, a message of music and language, a small shining summary of Earth. When Voyager 2 crossed the heliopause, its instruments heard something subtle. A rise in plasma density, the hum of interstellar particles pressing against the solar wind. It was not a wall, but a sigh. The sun exhaling into the galaxy. Out here, the space between stars is not empty. It is filled with the interstellar medium, a thin haze of atoms, dust, and magnetic fields that drifts through the Milky Way. In every cubic centimeter, there may be just a few atoms of hydrogen. Yet over light years, they add up to rivers of matter, glowing faintly in radio waves. These invisible filaments form the threads of the galactic web, the structure that binds stars into spirals, galaxies into clusters, clusters into cosmos. Gravity never ends, it only weakens. Even in this emptiness, it reaches from every star to every other. A network of attraction holding the galaxy together. Between stars, gravity is the quiet conversation that never stops. Each system speaking to the next through the language of motion. Neptune, though now far behind, still plays its part, its faint tug adding to the sun's collective pull that threads through the local galactic neighborhood. In this region, light travels freely. There are no clouds to scatter it, no air to slow it down. Starlight moves in straight lines for centuries before meeting another world. The darkness here is not absence but purity. Blackness unbroken by dust, deep enough to reveal every color of the Milky Way's heart. It is the space where the universe truly becomes visible. If you could drift here, you would see the sun as a pale star among millions. It would be smaller than your thumbnail held at arm's length, yet still golden, still bright enough to remember. Around it, the faint glow of the heliosphere would shine like a bubble of light, marking the home you've left behind. Farther ahead, the next stars, Alpha Centauri, Proxima, Barnard's star, would shimmer like quiet promises in the dark. Here, time expands. Distances are measured not in kilometers, but in light years. The space light travels in 1 year, nearly 10 trillion kilometers. Between stars, nothing moves quickly. A spacecraft traveling at Voyager's speed would take over 70,000 years to reach the nearest one. Yet distance does not erase connection. Gravity, light, and memory still weave every star into a single story. Slow, patient, eternal. In this gravity between stars, even silence has weight. Every particle, every photon, every whisper of motion participates in a cosmic balance so precise that galaxies can spin for billions of years without losing rhythm. It is the same force that holds the rings of Neptune, the same hand that draws comets home, now extended across unimaginable space. So as you rest, imagine floating here, far beyond the last planet, beyond the last whisper of solar wind. The sun behind you, the galaxy before you. Stars drift like slow lanterns across an infinite ocean. There is no noise, no edge, only gentle gravity, binding everything that ever was and ever will be. The lonely voyagers. Before we travel beside them, take a quiet moment to subscribe, like, and let these calm journeys become part of your night. Every week we drift further through worlds and stories that move at the rhythm of rest. They are the smallest and bravest of travelers. Two human-made instruments, each no larger than a car, built of metal, wire, and intention. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 began as explorers of the planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, but became something greater. Messengers of the human spirit, drifting forever into the dark. They carry no crew, no fuel, only power from the slow decay of plutonium, a steady warmth that has kept their hearts beating for nearly half a century. Their antennas still whisper across the Gulf, though the signals now take over 20 hours to reach Earth. Each one is a faint pulse in the night, a heartbeat echoing from billions of kilometers away. Voyager 2 was the first to visit Neptune. In 1989, it passed just 4,800 kilometers above the planet's cloud tops, sending back the first close images of that distant blue world. It saw the great dark spot, the high white clouds, and Neptune's thin rings, sights no human eyes had ever known. Then, with a final turn of its cameras, it captured a view of the planet receding into the dark and began its outward drift, leaving the solar system behind. Decades later, in 2018, it crossed the heliopause, the invisible frontier where the sun's wind ends and the galaxy begins. Its instruments recorded the change, a sudden rise in plasma, a hush in the familiar hum of charged particles. In that silence, Voyager 2 entered the interstellar medium, becoming only the second object ever to do so. Its twin, Voyager 1, had crossed 6 years earlier, moving north out of the solar system. Before shutting down its cameras forever, it turned back toward home and took the image now called the pale blue dot, Earth, a single pixel suspended in a beam of sunlight. Carl Sagan wrote of that picture, "That's here. That's home. That's us." From that tiny speck, the Voyagers had begun. And to that speck, their message still points. Each spacecraft carries a golden record, a phonograph disc coated in gold containing sounds and images of Earth. greetings in 55 languages, music from Bach to Chuck Berry, the laughter of a child, the sound of wind and waves. Etched on its cover are diagrams showing the path to our sun, a map made of pulsars and instructions on how to play the record. It is a bottle in a cosmic sea, a message to anyone or anything that might one day find it. Even now, the Voyagers continue to report. They measure magnetic fields, cosmic rays, and the density of interstellar plasma. Their voices are faint, carried on the deep space network, where enormous dishes in California, Spain, and Australia listen through static for their returning whispers. Each bit of data that arrives is a miracle of distance, a message that has crossed 23 billion kilometers and still says, "I'm here." Someday their power will fade, their instruments will go silent, their antennas will cool, but they will continue to travel, forever unbound. Long after Earth has changed, after our sun has dimmed, the Voyagers will still move through the galaxy, passing between the stars like patient sparks. It may take tens of thousands of years for them to reach another system, perhaps to drift near another sun. By then, they will be only dust, carrying the memory of a species that once looked up and wondered. If you could float beside them now, you would hear nothing, only the soft hum of cosmic radiation, the static of eternity. The sun would be a pale star behind you. Ahead, the Milky Way would stretch like a river of frozen fire. The spacecraft would spin slowly, silent, steady, each rotation a measure of time older than memory. You would realize that they are not lonely because they carry the sound of us, the sound of life that once dreamed of stars. In their drifting, there is something deeply peaceful. They are not racing. They are not lost. They move at the universe's pace, patient, eternal, serene. Each second that passes, they remind us that curiosity is a form of love. The desire to reach beyond ourselves, to understand, to connect. So as you listen now, imagine those small golden discs still turning, still glinting faintly in starlight. They move through the gravity between stars, bearing the sound of oceans, the laughter of children, and the pulse of human hope, our signature written across infinity. The light of home. Before we turn toward the sun again, a gentle reminder. If these cosmic lullabies bring you calm, subscribe, like, and stay close. Each story is a thread of light, another step home through the silence of space. Even from the farthest dark, the sun still shines. Its light, though faint, reaches everything that has ever belonged to it, every comet, moon, and grain of dust. The Voyagers carry that glow on their backs, the golden reflection of the star that gave them birth. And though the distance grows, the light of home never disappears. It only becomes softer, more sacred, more rare. The sun is small from here, no larger than a bright star. Its warmth cannot be felt, but its gravity can, a pull that extends billions of kilometers, holding everything it has ever touched. That is what makes a home in space. Not walls or warmth, but connection. The invisible bond that endures even after sight is lost. When we look outward, we often imagine departure, movement away, expansion, discovery. But when the Voyagers looked back, they showed us something deeper. That even in departure, there is still belonging. The pale blue dot is proof. That faint pixel of Earth suspended in a sunbeam, contains every ocean, every memory, every dream. All of human history, reduced to a single color in a single frame, yet still luminous. That is what light means, to be small and still be seen. The light of the sun is not simply brightness, it is continuity. Every photon that leaves its surface carries warmth that began in the heart of a fusion furnace 10 million degrees hot. Each one travels outward for 8 minutes to reach Earth. But it can wander inside the sun for thousands of years before escaping its core. When that light finally touches us, it has already lived a lifetime of patience. It is a message of endurance. That illumination is born of time. The light that reaches Neptune takes over 4 hours to arrive. It arrives thin, pale, nearly exhausted, yet still enough to cast shadows, to paint clouds blue, to guide the orbit of moons. That same light now travels past the Voyagers, spilling into the dark. It will continue outward, past the Oort halo, through the gravity between stars, until it joins the glow of the Milky Way. Nothing stops it. Nothing owns it. Light is the only traveler faster than loneliness. In every direction, the universe glows with ancient light. The stars that surround us are other suns, each sending their own warmth across the dark. Even the black between them hums faintly in microwave radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, the universe's first dawn. Every particle of light carries a story, some from galaxies billions of years old, some from our own sun moments ago. All of it is home, seen from different distances. For the Voyagers, that light is compass and comfort. Their cameras may be silent, but their sensors still measure the faint warmth of the sun. They navigate by its pull, its invisible geometry shaping their endless drift. Though they will never return, they are still bound to it, still illuminated by its presence. In that way, they are like us, always moving, yet never leaving. If you could see the solar system from afar, you would not see planets or rings or clouds. You would see a tiny spark surrounded by darkness, the sun, shining quietly, wrapped in its family of moving lights. Neptune would circle invisibly at the edge, reflecting a whisper of that glow. Earth would shimmer faintly nearer the center, just bright enough to be guessed at. And somewhere, smaller still, 2 golden dots, the Voyagers, would carry that light farther than it was ever meant to go. Home, in the cosmic sense, is not a place, but a glow. It is the warmth that travels outward and never returns, yet always remembers where it came from. It is the assurance that every star, every world, every life is part of the same radiance. Even in the endless night, you are never completely in the dark. There is always a photon on its way, carrying the memory of sunlight. So as you listen, imagine turning slowly in space. The sun ahead, the galaxy behind, the dark all around. You are surrounded by light too faint to see, yet enough to feel. You are suspended in connection, belonging to everything that shines. The light of home is still with you, patient, ancient, eternal. The breath of the sun. Before we approach the light, a soft reminder. If you find peace in these slow cosmic journeys, subscribe, like, and let this light find you again each week. A calm voyage through science and stillness. Every star breathes, though not in the way a living thing does. The sun, too, inhales and exhales, not air, but plasma, light, and time. Its breath flows through the solar system, a constant wind of charged particles that touches every planet, every moon, every grain of dust. Even Neptune, far beyond the warmth of day, feels that breath as a whisper against its magnetic skin. This is the solar wind, the heartbeat of our star. It leaves the sun's surface at hundreds of kilometers per second, carrying fragments of its atmosphere outward in all directions. The wind sculpts everything it touches, stretching Earth's magnetic field into a tail, creating the auroras of Neptune, and shaping the heliosphere, that great bubble of light and influence surrounding the sun. It is the pulse that unites the planets in motion. Beneath the glow we see each dawn, the sun is alive with movement. Its surface, the photosphere, roils with convection, cells of gas rising and falling like a restless sea. Each one is larger than continents, yet lasts only hours. Above that, loops of magnetic fire arc through the corona, glowing millions of degrees hot, releasing flares that send waves of energy across space. The light from those flares reaches us in 8 minutes. Their wind may take days to arrive. When it does, the planets respond. Skies shimmer, magnetospheres tremble, dust stirs along invisible paths. The James Webb Space Telescope does not study the sun directly. It is too bright for its delicate eyes. But other instruments watch constantly. The Solar Dynamics Observatory, Parker Solar Probe, SOHO, and Solar Orbiter. Together, they record the sun's breath in exquisite detail, tracing filaments of plasma and the patterns of magnetic fields that weave through the corona. Their images reveal a star, not of fire, but of movement, golden tides that never stop, light that behaves like liquid. Every 11 years, the sun's heartbeat quickens. Its magnetic poles flip, sunspots bloom, flares grow stronger, then fade again into calm. This rhythm, the solar cycle, has guided climates, auroras, and even radio signals on Earth. At its peak, the sun's surface looks alive with storms. At its quietest, smooth and serene. But in truth, even in stillness, it breathes the same. Constant, steady, infinite. All of the light you have ever seen began in its core, a place where atoms fuse, turning hydrogen into helium, releasing energy that travels outward over thousands of years before escaping as sunlight. When that light finally touches Earth, or Neptune, or the voyagers far beyond, it carries the warmth of beginnings, the memory of creation itself. If you could drift near the sun without harm, you would see motion rather than flame. You would see currents of plasma rising and falling like the surface of a golden ocean, spirals of magnetic loops, twisting and snapping, waves of brightness sweeping across continents of light. You would hear no sound, yet feel vibration, the silent rhythm of a living sphere breathing energy into the universe. That breath is everywhere. It moves the tails of comets, stirs the dust of Mars, dances across Saturn's rings, and paints auroras on Neptune's night side. It connects everything that orbits, binding the system in one continuous exhalation of light. Even when you look up from Earth at a calm blue sky, you are inside the breath of the sun, part of its motion, part of its warmth. When its journey ends, billions of years from now, the sun will swell and cool, turning red, then white, then fade into silence. But the light it sent and the winds it breathed will continue forever, crossing the galaxy, absorbed into other worlds, other stars, Nothing truly ends, it only transforms. The breath becomes dust, the dust becomes light again. So as you rest tonight, imagine that you are floating within that breath, calm, weightless, timeless. You are part of the same flow that touches Neptune's clouds, that moves through the Voyager's golden antennas, that glows on every leaf and ocean wave on Earth. The sun's warmth does not just shine, it travels through you. It is the heartbeat that all of creation shares, the breath that never stops. The endless voyage. Before we drift into the final silence, a soft reminder. If this journey through Neptune's world and beyond has brought you peace, subscribe, like, and stay connected. Each new voyage is a continuation, the next light in the long night of wonder. The universe has no ending, only continuation. From the breath of the sun to the quiet edge of the Oort halo, from the winds of Neptune to the gravity between stars, everything moves, everything endures. The cosmos is not still. It dreams in motion. And we, for a moment, dream with it. Neptune drifts on, patient as thought. Its blue storms turn, fade, and rise again. Triton circles backward, the rings shimmer, the winds hum their long, invisible song. Somewhere far above, the light of the sun arrives, thin, tired, but eternal, and paints the clouds with peace. In its slow rotation, the planet keeps time for the edge of the solar system. It is the last great clock of sunlight, ticking softly against the void. Beyond it, the Kuiper Sea flows. Then the scattered worlds. Then the halo, where comets sleep. Beyond that, the Voyagers glide, still moving, still sending whispers home. Each bit of data, each pulse of radio light, is a reminder that distance is not silence. Even across billions of kilometers, we remain connected by curiosity, by memory, by the desire to see. The stars themselves drift in this same quiet pattern. A galaxy turning once every 200 million years, a spiral of suns glowing like embers in dark water. From here, each one is a promise, another home, another warmth, another voice in the endless choir of light. All of them, together, make the Milky Way's slow song, a melody too vast to hear, but always being played. And through it all, gravity listens. It binds the motions, shapes the orbits, draws the unseen paths. It is the oldest and calmest voice in existence, the first word of the universe, still speaking in every movement. Even where light fades, gravity remains, the memory of creation itself. The endless voyage is not the journey of ships or stars. It is the voyage of meaning. Every world we visit, every discovery we make, is a way of seeing ourselves. Reflected in the blue of Neptune, the heat of the sun, the quiet of the dark. The cosmos teaches not by speaking, but by being. It shows us that stillness is motion slowed, and that even the faintest light can guide us home. If you could stand at the edge of everything, you would see it all at once. The sun glowing at the center, its breath flowing outward, the planets circling like thoughts around a flame, the comets drifting in long ellipses of memory, and the distant stars holding the frame of it all, turning slowly through eternity. Every motion connected, every silence filled with story. The Voyagers continue their path. Neptune keeps turning, the sun keeps breathing, the galaxy keeps spinning, and somewhere you, a listener under starlight, are part of the same rhythm. Your heartbeat, too, is a form of orbit, a small echo of cosmic continuity. There is comfort in that. Nothing is lost. Light only changes form. Warmth only changes name. The atoms that make you were once inside stars. The starlight you see tonight will someday pass through other eyes. The voyage never ends. It only transforms. So rest now in that thought. The night is not empty. It is infinite. The darkness is not silence. It is serenity. You are adrift, but never alone. The universe carries you, just as it carries Neptune, the comets, and the wandering voyagers, together in an unbroken sea of light. The silent currents. Before we drift farther, a gentle reminder. If these calm voyages help you rest among the stars, subscribe, like, and let your evenings wander through this quiet light. Each story is a current. Together they form an ocean of stillness. Space looks still, but it is never silent. Between the planets, invisible rivers flow. Streams of particles, magnetic fields, and ancient light moving through the dark. They are called cosmic rays, though they are not rays at all, but fragments of atoms traveling near the speed of light. Each one carries a story from a distant star, a whisper of something that exploded long ago. When they reach Neptune's orbit, most are deflected by the planet's magnetic field, spiraling along invisible lines, painting faint patterns through the upper atmosphere. Some strike its clouds and vanish. Others continue inward, past the giant planets toward the inner worlds. They are the quiet couriers of the universe, energy made patient. Mixed with them are particles of interstellar dust, older than the solar system itself. Each grain smaller than a cell, each born in the ashes of stars. They move in slow waves through space, pushed by radiation pressure, drawn by gravity, caught in the gentle tides between suns. Through instruments aboard the Voyagers, we have detected them. Single impacts recorded as faint ticks against a sensor, proof that even emptiness has texture. Scientists call this space between stars the local interstellar cloud, a drifting mass of gas and dust that our solar system currently passes through. It moves at nearly 25 kilometers per second, slow enough to be unnoticed, fast enough to reshape what it touches. Its atoms mingle with the edges of the heliosphere, creating subtle shifts in magnetic flow, bending the paths of cosmic rays. The entire solar system is swimming through this cloud, a cosmic current we cannot see. Even Neptune feels these tides. Its magnetosphere bends slightly under the pressure of this interstellar wind, its outer layers responding like water to a passing breeze. We may not feel it, but the planet moves with the same subtle rhythm as the galaxy, each orbit a note in a larger harmony. If you could float out there, beyond Neptune, you would sense this motion without sound. Charged particles would drift past like snow made of light. The sun's distant breath would blend with the galaxy's wind, forming invisible waves that travel through your being. Every movement would be gentle, slow, eternal, the calm dance of gravity and charge. The silent currents connect everything: stars, worlds, dust, memory. They carry fragments of supernovae, whispers of ancient elements, and the energy that keeps galaxies alive. We are surrounded by motion even when we think we are still. The universe does not rest. It drifts in equilibrium. So as you listen, imagine yourself inside that current, adrift, not moving, yet carried by all motion. Every heartbeat in you matches the pulse of particles streaming across infinity. You are part of the flow, part of the unseen wind that ties every atom to every star. Echoes in the dark. Before the next silence, a soft thought. If the vastness feels gentle tonight, subscribe, like, and let your mind wander through the echoes of creation itself. All around us, even in perfect darkness, there is light. Not the kind that blinds or glows, but the kind that remembers. It fills every corner of space, faint, ancient, everywhere. This is the cosmic microwave background, the first light of the universe, still traveling through time. It began nearly 13.8 billion years ago, when the universe was young and dense and hot. Before that, there was no transparency. Light could not move freely. It bounced endlessly between particles. But as the cosmos expanded and cooled, atoms formed and light was released. That light has been traveling ever since, stretched by time until its color faded into microwaves. Too weak for our eyes, but not for our instruments. From Neptune's distance, that background fills the sky evenly. There is no direction where it does not shine. Every spacecraft, every telescope, every antenna ever launched is bathed in it. The whisper of the Big Bang itself. It is not a sound, but if translated, it hums like static, a faint hiss older than stars. To the Planck Observatory and the James Webb Space Telescope, this radiation is a map, a frozen fingerprint of temperature differences less than 1 part in 100,000. From those differences came everything. Galaxies, stars, planets, life. Every structure began as a small vibration in that light, a ripple in the first breath of existence. When we look toward Neptune, we see sunlight reflected off its clouds. But when we look beyond it, we see the afterglow of all things, the sky as it was before there were worlds. The faint warmth of that ancient radiation still touches Neptune's surface, though the planet itself was formed billions of years later. It is an echo that never fades, a memory written across the dark. If you could close your eyes in the void and listen, you would not hear silence, you would hear balance. The background tone of creation, still resonating through time. That hum holds everything that ever existed and everything that ever will. It is the universal heartbeat, the same rhythm that guided atoms into stars and stars into galaxies. We exist because that light never stopped traveling. Every photon from that origin still moves outward, still expanding the universe, still carrying the memory of beginnings. Even now, as you listen, the space around you is filled with it, ancient, invisible, perfect. In a way, you are inside the echo of the universe, remembering itself. So as the night deepens, imagine this. Every atom in your body was once part of that light. Every heartbeat is an echo of that same hum. The dark is not empty. It is full of history, full of warmth, full of continuity. You are not looking into space. You are looking into the past. And the past, in its own quiet way, is still shining. The return of light. Before we drift onward, one last reminder. If you've traveled with us from Neptune to the stars, subscribe, like, and join the next voyage, where light leaves one galaxy and finds another. The journey does not end in darkness. It bends, turns, and begins again. All that moves in shadow will one day glow once more, and all that glows will one day rest. That is the rhythm of the cosmos, light returning to light. From Neptune's cold horizon, you can see the Milky Way stretched across the sky like silver mist. And if you look just beyond, you will see two faint spirals, one larger, one smaller, slowly turning toward each other. They are Andromeda and Triangulum, our galactic companions, shining from millions of light years away. Their light has been traveling since before life began on Earth, since before Neptune formed its rings. Every photon from those galaxies is a message in motion, a particle of history crossing the dark to meet our eyes. When you see Andromeda, you see what it looked like 2.5 million years ago. When you see Triangulum, you see a vision from 3 million years past. The universe is a gallery of memory, each star a window into what was. That light passes through the same currents that brushed Neptune's storms, through the same magnetic sea that carried the voyagers outward. It does not lose its way. It simply changes form, refracted by dust, slowed by time, yet unbroken. When it reaches us, it carries the signature of two galaxies, soft spirals glowing in harmony, already beginning their long approach toward one another. In billions of years, they will merge, the Milky Way, Andromeda, and Triangulum, forming one luminous shape, a new galaxy born from their union. But even now, before that day, their light mingles faintly in our sky. It is the preview of a future harmony, the quiet promise of rest. Neptune, from its far seat in the solar system, is part of this same pattern. Its orbit contributes to the cosmic balance. Its storms reflect the same physics that shape galaxies. What happens in its blue winds echoes the same mathematics that guide the spirals of Andromeda. From the smallest swirl of methane to the grandest cluster of stars, the rules are the same. The universe does not scale. It sings in variations of one song. So, as the last chapter fades, imagine yourself between worlds. Behind you, the sun glows softly. Before you, Triangulum waits. Delicate, silver, turning with grace. The space between them is not distance, but continuity. The light that left Neptune's clouds will one day pass through another world, another night, another listener. In the end, there is no end. Only the return of light, the two galaxies rest. Before we end tonight's journey, take a quiet moment to subscribe, like, and stay with us among the stars. Each story here is a single thread in a larger tapestry, a slow weaving of science, calm and light. And now, the voyage returns to stillness. The story of Neptune fades gently, like sunlight on the farthest sea. The blue storms drift into silence. The rings shimmer one last time. Triton glows faintly beneath its frozen sky. The planet turns, steady and unhurried, a blue lantern at the edge of the sun's domain. Its light does not end. It simply falls into the deep, joining the slow rhythm of eternity. Beyond Neptune, the Kuiper Sea spreads out like an unfinished sentence. Comets sleep in their long ellipses. Ice waits for the sun's touch. Even farther, the Oort halo breathes, a thin sphere of memory surrounding everything that was ever made. The voyagers glide through it, carrying the sound of our world. A child's laugh, a heartbeat, the whisper of wind on water. They are humanity's small signatures in an infinite ledger. Proof that even fragile light can travel forever. And in the distance, the Milky Way gleams, its arms curling like quiet waves. Somewhere within that spiral, our next destination shines, the Triangulum Galaxy, the third great member of our cosmic family, faint yet bright enough to see from Earth on a clear, still night. It is smaller than Andromeda, quieter than the Milky Way, but no less beautiful, a spiral of gentleness, a bridge between worlds. When Andromeda and the Milky Way finally meet in some distant future, Triangulum will watch, orbiting, waiting, a witness to their union. Its stars will reflect that merging light, spreading it outward into the dark. And so, the cycle continues. Galaxies drifting, touching, resting. The universe folding itself into deeper harmony. The two great galaxies will rest, not in silence, but in symmetry. This is how all things move, from storm to calm, from fire to reflection, from light to light again. Neptune fades, but its music remains. The sound of balance, the hum of distance, the blue echo of creation. It reminds us that even the farthest worlds belong to the same story, that there is no edge, only continuity. So as this chapter closes, imagine yourself floating once more in the quiet between stars. Behind you, Neptune glows, soft as thought. Ahead, the next light waits, a spiral rising in the dark, the Triangulum Galaxy. Between them, the path remains open, shimmering, infinite. Rest in that path. Let your thoughts drift like comets. Let the gravity of peace pull you inward. You are part of the same endless voyage, a traveler through light and time, guided by wonder, carried by calm.